Greetings and welcome. My name is Ryan O'Rourke and I truly hope you find a light in today's demonstration. Now if you have any questions or inquiries regarding today's tutorial, I implore you to send me a message either on Facebook or leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. Now all of that being said, let's begin. The eye is a very complicated shape made up of a myriad of intricacies, so we really want to simplify it when we begin. I'm going to do so by creating two triangles right beside each other back to back, because that is essentially the shape of an eye once you smooth out the edges. So that's what I'm doing here, and I'm keeping in mind that the side of the eye that is closest to the nose, the edge of it is going to dip down slightly past the middle point of that triangle, while on the other side, the side that is farthest away from the nose, that is going to be around the center of the eye. It's going to stay in the middle. So you're going to have a dip on one side while the other side is going to remain level. Now from there I worked on the eyelid and I made sure that the side that was closest to the nose was tapered in while it got much larger at the top and then tapered again a little bit on the other side, but not as drastically as the side closest to the nose. Now from there I'm putting in a myriad of little lines from the outer edge of the eye moving in towards the center. And an easy way to ensure that you aren't making these lines in very awkward ways and angles is to plot points like north, west, east, and south and then fill them in from there, because then you have a guide of exactly what you're doing. Now from there I'm just connecting a couple of them to the middle and then I'm blending it all with a piece of tissue paper. I'm then lightening up various parts with a very sharp eraser. Now, because we softened it with that tissue and we kind of blended it all together, I'm going back with a mechanical pencil and I'm just making lines sharp again. I'm going to repeat this process a number of times, darkening the edges, reinstating all of the little lines going in towards the middle, and then from there I'm going to put on reflections on the eye. And I'm doing this with a large eraser. I'm picking 1 to 3 spaces and I'm just pronouncing a very white area in said quadrant. Now I'm not done with the middle of the eye, however I am going to start working around it. And this is an eye, it is three-dimensional, it is like a sphere or a cylinder. And so you need to keep in mind that the edges are going to be much darker, while when you get closer to the middle of the eye, it gets much brighter. So again, I'm drawing it in with pencil and then I am using a piece of tissue paper to soften it. I'm erasing areas if it gets a little bit too dark and then I'm redoing them. A lot of this process is doing and then redoing. Now, if you look what we're doing here, we are redarkening the edges. And we're doing that because upon your initial application, you want it to be fairly light just to gauge what you're doing, if you have it in the right spot, if you're going to, how much you're going to want, right? There are a lot of factors going into this. So I'd highly advise going in with less initially and then darkening it as you go, as opposed to putting on a lot of dark pencil and then having to erase a lot, because that doesn't always work out the way we want. So from there I worked on the bottom of the eyelid and it was much like the top where it's very tapered near the nose and then it gets larger around the middle of the eye. Now this is also three-dimensional, and so you want to ensure that the lightest portion is in the middle with both of the edges and sides being slightly darker. The top of the eyelid is no exception. We're going to do the exact same thing. So around the crease of the eyelid it is very dark. On the eye itself it's a fairly dark line, and then in the middle you have that nice bright spot. Now from there, I'm using my eraser and I'm just cleaning it all up because again, we're blending a lot with the tissue and that requires a lot of cleaning up because it takes away a lot of our whites and you want to reinstate them back into the work. Now from there, I'm working on the eyelids themselves. And I'm using a mechanical pencil because it's very sharp and precise. I don't have to go back and sharpen my pencil 1,000 times. And then from there, I'm using a 6B pencil to darken the bottom portion and widen the bottom portion. So what we're doing here, we're just ensuring that it's dark enough on the bottom, and then as the eyelash gets up and gets higher, it actually gets a lot brighter. And it creates a lot more depth within that because that area can easily look very flat if you're just doing it in a single stroke. but by mixing the pencils and creating a much greater depth by increasing the size at the bottom, you can really do a lot more with that area. Now here I'm just going back and I'm touching up different areas. Because I did the eyelashes, I now have a better idea of how dark I want everything. And so I was just darkening parts of the eye, I was sharpening pieces, and your drawing should always evolve with whatever else is going on. Like, you can go in with a plan, but if something goes a little bit differently, perhaps you do one portion better, then you learn something, and then you can go back and incorporate that in something else. And you need to make sure that all of the darks and lights are consistent within your piece, which means you should always be going back, fixing other things up, and even that if it's a finished area. Like I said, we did a lot on the middle of the eye, but we did need to go back and fix that as well. So now here I'm just lightening the line on the bottom eyelid, because there is a line there, but it doesn't need to be drastic. All of your lines don't need to be really dark. You can make some of them dark, you can make some of them bright, and here you'll just notice that we are working reductively. We made that entire area very dark, and then we lightened certain areas with our eraser. You can work by addition or you can work by attraction when you're drawing. And it's important to do both and understand both of them as well. Now from there, we're working on our eyelashes and our eyebrows. And I'm doing this with a myriad of strokes, and you can use whatever pencil you want. And everyone's eyelashes and all of this, eyebrows, it's going to change drastically depending upon the person. If it's a boy or a girl, if they're using makeup, if they're using a number of whatever products or grooming them. But something I like to keep consistent is keep it dark in the middle and erase the edges and then go back and draw more. So erase the edges, go back and draw more. Erase the edges, go back and draw more. On your final layer, perhaps you have a couple sharp strands that go out of that area, but this will really help create a depth within the eyebrow, making sure that the center of it looks very dense, and the outside of it, it almost looks like it's leafing off and you're losing focus with it, which really pronounces the middle and makes it much more three-dimensional, which is something that can be difficult when, again, you're just working with lines like the eyelashes. Next week, we will actually be working on a painting of the eye, and if it is already out, I will include it in the description of this video, so be sure to subscribe to check it out, or check the description of this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. I truly hope you've enjoyed, and again, if you have any questions or inquiries regarding today's work or anything else you've been working on, please feel free to leave me a comment, send me a message, and you can actually send me your work on my Facebook page, where I'd be more than happy to provide for you a constructive, positive critique where we can just talk about art. It's a friendly, creative space, and I welcome you to join me there. Now, that being said, if you look in the description of this video, you will also find a link to my mailing list. And upon signing up for that, you can receive free real-time videos, extra tips, tricks, videos. There's a myriad of things to explore, and I hope to explore them with you. Now, if you'd like anything specific done, tutorial-wise, please let me know. I'd take requests, and I'd be more than happy to help you in any way that I can. Now, all of that being said, I'd just like to thank you for taking the time out today, watching this with me, spending the time here, hitting that like button, that subscribe button, leaving a comment. Every little thing you do here, it matters immensely to me, and I just can't tell you how grateful I am. So thank you, and have a wonderful day.